Hello and welcome to another wonderful week of Pathway. This week we're starting our studies into professional writing and communication, and as we begin our group work, I want to go over some of the basics of professional email writing with you. I have some tips that I think will make this a little bit easier and a little less daunting, so let's go ahead and get started looking at these together. First, we want to cover the key elements of a successful professional email. By focusing on these key elements, you can create a clear focus for yourself that will make your writing more polished, professional, and impactful. The 4 topics that we're going to cover today are your subject line, your salutation, your body, and your valediction. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at these elements. When it comes to your subject line, having a good subject is crucial. When I log into my email and I see that I've received 20 plus emails in the last 3 hours, the first thing I do is scan my subject lines to see if there's anything that's urgent or anything that needs my attention right now. So, knowing that that is your first chance to capture the attention of your audience, there are a few things you should be keeping in mind. First, you should never ask a question in a subject line. These lines are meant to provide information, not ask for it. Next, you should be highly informational. Try to capture your reason for emailing in 2 to 5 words. Short and sweet but to the point is a key element here. And finally, you want to make sure that you're commanding attention. The more specific you are, the better, because anything vague is often forgotten or glossed over. But the more specific you are, the better chance you have of that staying in your reader's mind and getting their attention, so that ultimately you get a response, which is what you want. Now, our next element is the salutation. So this is your greeting. There are a few different ways you can go about this. For a casual greeting, you could say something like, "Hello, Sister Smith." This would be a really good example of a more casual salutation that's still proper. If you are going for more of a semi-professional feel, you could say, "Dear Sister Smith." This using dear is reminiscent of a business letter, and it's a little bit more formal, but still conversational. And then finally, for the most formal form, you would say, "Dear Mrs. Smith," with a colon. Notice that this is using a formal title and a colon instead of a comma. This is the most formal way to address your audience, and this is what you would do if you are talking to someone you've never met before in a setting where you need to be very professional and formal. So the important thing to note here is that your salutations can change based on your audience and how well you know them. So always make sure that you're choosing the right level of professionalism for your audience. Now, our next category is the email body. Now, there is a lot of really wonderful information in the lesson, so I hope you've had a chance to go through all of that. The lesson material there will help you see what you need to do to craft a good structure for your email. But one thing you can do to make sure that you're covering all of your bases and saying everything that needs to be said is consider the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, why. And how to apply these questions to an email, you could say, who are you in relation to the person you're contacting? Always start by saying who you are and why you're contacting. Next, the what is the purpose for your emailing. Are you emailing hoping for a recommendation or a referral? When do you need a response or a deliverable? If you're looking for something for someone, you're giving that ask at the end of an email, give them a timeline, give them a time frame. Let them know when you're expecting to see an answer from them and when you're hoping to hear back from them. Where is the best place to contact you? Always provide contact information. Don't assume that because you're emailing, they have your email and that's good enough. Some people might actually prefer to give you a phone call than draft an email. So provide some contact information. Let them know where they can contact you. And finally, why? Why have you chosen to contact this person specifically? Let them know that they have value that they're adding and that there's a reason you're coming to them. If you're doing these 5 things and following the structure of them from the lessons, you will have a strong body for your email. Now, finally, your valediction. This is the way of concluding your email. It's that farewell right at the end before your name. And there are some professional ways to do this and some unprofessional ways. So for our purposes, you definitely want to avoid this unprofessional category right here. Things that you could say are sincerely, regards, best regards, respectfully, or thank you. But things that are a little more casual and unprofessional, like cheers, cordially, warmly, hopefully, love, and thanks with an exclamation point, they're not quite proper enough for a professional email and should be avoided. Now, with that said, we've been focusing a lot on the presentation of your communication. And I just want to share a spiritual thought with you. This quote from Elder Oaks. He says, "Angels are sent to teach the gospel and bring men to Christ. Most angelic communications are felt or heard rather than seen." So as I said, with us putting all this emphasis on how your message comes across to your audience, how it appears, with all of that, I want you to remember that some of the most meaningful and personal communication you will receive is not actually in a written format like this. Remember to be perceptive, to stay close to the Spirit so that you can hear and really process and feel these communications that will be coming to you. I hope that you are getting those messages from angels in your life and through the semester, and I promise that they're there for you. If you have any questions, please go ahead and reach out as always, but otherwise, good luck and thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing.